Did you catch the national anthem Sunday night for the Super Bowl, Demi Lovato? I thought she did a very nice job. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure on people who are singing the national anthem, especially at a game like the Super Bowl. But she knocked it out of the park. I'm sorry for the baseball reference. I know we're talking about the Super Bowl here. But, she did a really good job. And when she got to the end there and everybody's favorite part in the land of the free, the home of the brave, it just gives me chills thinking about that. What a great anthem. It really goes to show the power of music to unite people, to make us believe in something that we think is true, but it really internalizes those thoughts when you hear somebody singing an anthem like that. And music's got a powerful way of elevating our thinking and our feeling beyond our circumstances, especially in days like today where people are just not getting along in our country. People just seem to be tearing each other apart. And then you hear a song like that and you remember that we all believe in this thing we call freedom. And I dare say we're all really grateful for the folks who fight for that freedom, who step up in bravery. So music's just one of those powerful tools in our lives to help remind us of something that we think is true. And we talked about that on Sunday. When you think about an anthem, for us as a country, it's the national anthem. But, in churches we sing anthems or we sing hymns or praise songs. Music's got a wonderful way of helping us through times when we feel like things just aren't going the way we think they should, and we're not feeling right, or we may not be feeling God's presence. But it's a music when we come to God through music and our prayers, it helps to lift our minds and our hearts to something greater. And I think that's what was going on in this passage we talked about Sunday with the Beatitudes. Many of us might know the Beatitudes. It's in Matthew chapter 5, but Jesus says to be full of joy and to be glad. And that's his description of blessedness, to be full of joy and to be glad, even in the midst of unfortunate circumstances, persecution, famine, hardship, when we're feeling poor in spirit. Jesus says that we're blessed, that we should be full of joy, and that we should be glad. And I think those words are like our tuning fork to help tune our hearts and our minds to remember what Jesus says here at the end of that passage, that we have a reward in heaven that is great. And these words for us, I think, help get us in tune with what we really believe to be true about our lives with God. Music, our hymns, our singing, our praise, it can help transform the way that we feel in a given moment, to lift us up out of our grief and our pain. And I'll close by sharing this one story. A friend named Jeff, and really appreciate Jeff letting me tell his story, was going through a really hard time after a divorce, and the music he was listening to at the time was not helping. And so he told me about the switch that he made to listen to Christian music, and he shared a CD that he made, and I listened to that music. And at first, I didn't really get it, but the more I listened to those words, the more I realized that there was something to this. So it led me to buy my first Christian album in high school sometime, and that brought me into a place where listening to this album, it was a Newsboys album called Devotion, and listening to that album on repeat, and this sort of like what I didn't know at the time was really a posture of prayer. Listening to this music devotionally, I felt the presence of God. I felt the Holy Spirit in every cell of my body. And I think that's what Jesus is talking about, that feeling of God's presence, of feeling full of joy and gladness. Sometimes we get distracted when we need those anthems to remind us what we really believe. And Jesus here is reminding us of our great reward in heaven. So I wonder, what music is playing in the background of your mind right now? Is it hopelessness? Is it despair? Is it sadness? And what song out there is God leading you to? What kind of music do you need to listen to remind you about your great reward in heaven, so that you too can be blessed by feeling full of joy and gladness in spite of whatever difficult circumstances you may be going through? So I want to challenge you this week to listen to a different tune. Take care, and God bless you.